Good morning, my friends. How are we all today? I hope you are having a beautiful day. I'm going to do a little project, hoping to do two variations. It's very simple, hopefully a bit of a scrap busting project. So let's get into it. I am about to be interrupted by Kelly. A little visit from the cat again, potentially. As my base, we'll see how we get on. As my base, I'm using this paper, till receipt or adding tape roll. It's not the thermal one, so this is older. It's just paper. You don't need this for this project. You can just cut some strips of photocopy paper or use some book pages, cut into strips, whatever you like. Okay, we are not getting very far before Kelly has come to visit. I'm just going to give her a few minutes, guys. I'll pause the camera and then I'll put her on the floor and come back. Sorry about that, guys. We didn't get very far, did we? Okay, as I was saying, some sort of base in strips, because we're kind of doing like a little collage strip, snippet strip if you like, but just a little bit more, I don't know, thought through maybe. I don't know. I'm completely thrown by that little interruption, much as I love my darling Kelly. Right, so the first way I have been cutting strips, I've prepared a number in advance. They don't need to be a specific width. My maximum is 3/4 of an inch down to whatever this is. So I set out cutting even strips, and then I realized it's probably more interesting to do various widths. So my advice is, and I'll show you, we'll cut up some of this or all of it. We'll see how we go. Just going to trim off the blank edges to start with. This is a page, cut all the way through might be a good idea, from a thesaurus, this page, and it's got a lovely patina to it, which I really love. So I thought if I cut most of them ahead of time, oh, I've got 2 pages here. I was like, why am I getting double the scraps underneath? It's because I've actually got 2 pages. So I just once I've trimmed off the edges, I just line it up in there and just push it along, making sure it's straight, and cut whatever strips. And you can do across the way, you can do vertical like I'm doing right now. It's just going to help vary your end result. So you might as well do all of this. And one more, I think. Let's do it there. Okay. So I think we should have enough. If we don't, well, we'll just do a shorter snippet roll. So I'm going to roll off some of this to about there, just so I'm not kind of, oh, it's wanting to roll, people. Fancy that, being round, it wants to roll. I mean, who would have thought, honestly? Right, okay, so I'm going to need a glue book for the glue pages, and a glue stick. I might abandon this at some point and go, tacky glue just to save a few glue pages, but I'm going to start with a bit, and I'm going to pop them on an angle. Now I don't want to make it too deep of an angle like this, because then you're going to end up needing really long strips, and we'll just see how it goes. Whoops. So I'm choosing to glue on the snippet base itself, and then we're just going to do diagonal. You don't have to do diagonal. I just thought it'd be more interesting to do that. Oops, that's the same paper. We really want to mix up the papers. This is a instruction leaflet for medicine, I think, or cat flea treatment or something like that. So, you know, you can use whatever scraps of book page, music. And I also want to vary the colour if I can. I haven't got a huge... Now, I do need to... Now, interesting, I still might run into the problem where I don't have long enough strips. But I think I have a way around that if we run into that issue. Because it's turning more vertical than what I had thought it was going to. I can see that I might be abandoning the glue stick quite. Yeah, see, I haven't got a long enough strip there. I'm just going to take another one that's hopefully in fact this one is the same book page. And it's not the same width. Let's just try and find one that's about the same width. Yep, that one will be fine. That's a really thick book page. So I've got different weights, like this instruction leaflet is super thin, and this particular page that I just put down is very thick. I'm risking my mat here getting glue on it, but oops. So you can just, you know, put strips together. It's going to be fine. It is, after all, a snippet strip. And some of these I could have trouble matching up, and I can snip off these overhangs and use them again. Yeah, I thought the angle I'd chosen would be fine, but no, it's not. So that would be my one takeaway from this, is be careful if you want to do the angle like I'm doing. Either be prepared to put different lengths together to make your line, or do it straight across where you know you're working with a set width. It'd be annoying to have that angle on there. Just making sure I've got glue there. And because I've gone random widths, therefore the matching up is not quite so easy. Right, just snipping off the angles. I'd prefer to work with straight edges for the joining strips together. Oops. Okay, what else have we got? This is another one of those, that same book page, so it should be... Now, of course, that's the other option, is I can slightly overlap. If it's a little bit wider, I can overlap them. Like this one is slightly wider. Right, let's put it back on the glue page. So it's building up quite quickly, and some of these won't be long enough anyway to do this sort of length, so it was kind of inevitable that I was going to have to do some patching. Okay, so I've run out of just at the end there. No, learn from my trial and error. And then you can judge which way you want to go, whether you want to be fussy with it, because I tend to be fussy. That's just how I work. I'm a perfectionist, so I fiddle around and I like it to be correct. That's bugging me because there's not enough glue under there. Keeps lifting. and a bit more there. So this is why I often resort to tacky glue as well. It's just easier to whip in under there with the tip of my tacky glue. Okay, this one's nice and long, so it should, oops, if we place it carefully, doesn't quite go all the way down, but I'm going to leave the little gap at the end because we can always cover it with something or put a bit of ink on it. You know, multiple ways to cover a little bit that's missing. Right. Oops, just left a big lump of glue on my glue pages there. And so the direction of the text combined with the different colors of paper and the different fonts, different sizes of text, you know, all that stuff makes it look really interesting. And I think the angle may not be for everybody, you know, you may not want to bother with the angle, but it does give it an extra something. Just an extra bit of variation and takes away from the reading, you know, the reading of the text that's on it. For those of you who have husbands like me who like to read what's on the base of your journal card or your tag. Strange creatures that they can be sometimes. Okay, now I'm going to snip it off here. And now I will just work on filling this corner so we can go back down to smaller and smaller strips. Now because it's a snippet strip, you can cut it into lengths so that you don't run into so much of the issue with the length of your pieces, having to patch them. Bit of music there, bit of this. And this one should fit. In fact, it's going to cover the rest. So there we go. So I've just got one little gap there where I didn't have enough, and I don't really just want to put a bit of paper over it, and that is not gluing down. Some of these papers are resistant to glue stick. Either that or I just didn't put enough glue stick, or it dried before I, you know, partially dried before I got the paper on. So I might, yeah, we'll see how we go on the next one. So very, very simple, really. Simple concept, something you could do in front of TV. Just, you know, have a bunch of strips that you've cut, or do the cutting in front of TV. If you're like me, you like a TV activity, because I don't just watch TV. Okay, I'm going to leave that now to dry before I trim off the edges. And we're going to do version number 2. Where to put it? Over there will do. So version number 2, I think I'll start off just by cutting a length of this. So I'm not doing really long lengths for this today, just so I'm not keeping you too long. Okay, so I'm putting aside all those strips that I had cut, and I'm grabbing out some scraps. So using up scraps, let's grab out a few more, a bit more music. Some handwriting, a bit of that. That's my mum's handwriting. Scrap. Good scrap busting. Who doesn't love a good scrap buster? Bit of that and a bit of that. Random scraps. Love a good random scrap. That one's going to be too short, so won't bother with that one. Okay, We can grab more out if we need it. Okay, so this time I'm going to work in the, I guess, traditional sense, in that we're going to, sorry, I've just got a bit of paper on my fingers that won't come off, and my fingers are black. Why are my fingers black? Let's just give them, because they look terrible. Must be the ink off the book page, or I'm just a really mucky pup. Kelly has just gone back out. Oh, poor darling. Right, so I'm going to work across. I'm not going to do an angle this time. I'm just going to do straight across. And we're going to do torn edges, so a lot more random. No set width, no measuring, apart from making sure that it goes right across. Would be ideal. And I'm just going to glue down. So again, I'm going to start with a straight edge on this edge so that I'm not, might as well use a straight edge there. So here we go. I don't want to waste too much glue, and I don't want the blank edge, so we're gonna, it will be overlapped, like probably won't even see that torn edge, but just in case. Now if you really wanted to get into it, you could ink all of these before you glue them on. It would take, you know, a considerable more amount of time, but I think it would look really cool. Right, now we can put on the music paper. Yeah, I think it would look really cool if you are an inker, if you wanted to add a little bit of colour. You know, if you wanted to do the neutral book page, but then add whatever colour you're working with, whether it be blue or pink or even just like vintage photo or something, I think that would look pretty cool. Trying to mix up the pages, not putting the same thing too close together. Let's put a bit of handwriting. And I think I'll do a vertical piece. And you can do, you know, funky shapes. Makes it interesting as well. Bearing in mind that your bottom edge is going to be covered mostly. So if you've got a really cool edge that you like, and I've just done too long a strip there, but never mind, then put your funky edge where you actually get to see it. So putting it this way, so we get that fun shape. And I'm going to really glue up my mat if I leave that. So I'm just going to trim it down a little bit, glue up my scissors instead, because you know, dealing with glue, everything gets gluey. Okay, again, tear off that blank edge. Some nice stamping strips being created here. And so this has got it's a torn edge, but it's a straight edge, so I'm going to make that one that gets overlapped. Also varying the direction of your text. You know, don't put it all the same way unless you really want that look. And it's just fun. Just a bit of low-key fun. Okay. Let's take off, whoops. Take off some of that. I am keeping an eye on the text on the book page as I do it for any words that kind of jump out at me and go, da-da, here I am, negativity, whatever, bad word, you know, things that we don't really want in our pieces. Taken in isolation, they can become quite jarring. Okay, I think I'll just make this a bit thinner. And then I'll put it up the other way. Actually, no, I'm going to put it up the same way so that it's not like dung, 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 not regimented like that. because I think that would kind of destroy the effect in some respects. Okay, let's take a scrap of this. So if you've got a bunch of neutral book pagey scraps lying around, perhaps you want to give this a go. And I hope to, once I've done this, to make some things with them. That's what I'm hoping, to show you, you know, what the purpose might be if you're not familiar with snippet strips or snippet rolls. I don't make a lot of them myself. That's something I just forget about making them, and then once I've made them I forget about using them. So it's a reminder to myself as well. Here's a bit of Spanish. Let's throw a bit of that in. That they are actually really cool and useful little decorative bits, and you could actually turn them into an ephemera piece all on their own. You know, it's quite close in colour, but because the text is different, I'm going to go with it. Just going to tear a little bit off the end there. Hopefully I didn't make it too short. Yeah, no, we're good. You know, that the width of this, actually I should measure the width for you so you know what sort of width I'm working with. 2 3/4 inches, or in centimeters, 7 centimeters. So that's the width I'm working with. If you're making your own, if you're not working with something like this or working with a different width, that's fine. But this particular width, you know, you could turn that into a really cool tag. Just you know, cut it to length, do your tag shape, decorate it, and you're done. If it's a bit light for you, if the book pages or whatever you're decorating with is a bit, you know, a bit thin, you might want to add a backing onto it. Right, let's use some of this volcano text. This is a shinier book page, but that's okay. So I'm going to change out my glue page. It's getting very sticky. Oozes. That's a cool word. Oozes. And it's preceded by the word lava. So, you know, it takes it away from being kind of icky. Could be in the icky territory, the word oozes. But it's not, because it's talking about lava. So here's the word lava. Oops, I'm going to have to clean my mat off after this, I can tell you that. Right, let's do a vertical piece of this, of the Spanish book page. And this one we will do up the other way. I was looking for my really brownish book pages. Excuse me. But they should be behind me, but I can't find them. And I was trying to look while I was giving Kelly some cuddles, and that wasn't working that well. She was like, no, you concentrate on me, thank you very much. So yeah, I'll have to, after the video, I'll have to have a look, because they probably just slid, the book itself's probably slid down, hiding somewhere. I don't imagine it would have run away, but I thought the colour would be really good mixed in with these. These are all, you know, not very different really, are they? They're all quite sort of similar colours. There's a little bit of white in there. There's a slightly darker, but let's put some of this in. This is the thesaurus, and it's probably the darkest of any of the scraps I've got to play with at the moment. Yep, nice. Oh, good thing I didn't actually check what was on the other side, but the other side is hatred. And this side is head and heaven. So I know which one of those I would prefer on the front. So fortunately I glued the right one. It's a bit short. It's not. Okay, let's do this. Again, give it a, whoops, torn edge. Nice contrast there between those two. Sorry, I keep gluing off to the side. It's just dragging the glue block backwards and forwards. It just annoys me. Because just annoys me. That's all there is to it. End of story. Let's put another bit of handwriting, but we'll go horizontal this time. Mum's study notes back from the early 1990s when she was at Bible college. Her writing's changed quite a lot now, which is quite sad. And makes it cool that I've got things like this, and I've got her a whole folder of it, you know, to see the deterioration in her handwriting. It's quite sad. Aging is really, it really sucks, doesn't it? It just really sucks. There are good parts to aging, but then you get to a certain point in the aging process where it just really sucks. It's just not fun. And it's hard to watch people you love aging and suffering the adverse effects of whatever's going on for them. You know, not everybody ages badly. There are some exceptions, but, you know, at some point age kind of, like our bodies go through a lot during our lifetime, don't they? They suffer a lot. We tend to abuse them by and large, like, you know, especially when we're younger, we think we're just bulletproof and we can do it because we get away with it. And then later on in life, you know, sometimes they come back and bite you, those things. The misadventures of youth come back and go, hello, remember when you did that? And at the time, it was fine. Like, I let you away with it, but now I'm coming home to roost. Yep, that's it. That's how our bodies work. I'm not saying that Mum did anything untoward at all. Just talking in general, that, you know, we as human race, we tend to not think about the years ahead and how we treat our bodies. We tend to just live our lives and do whatever, and yeah, like repetitive things. You know, if we do a lot of repetitive things when we're younger and our body has no reaction, and then as we get older it starts to have an effect. We get things like overuse, repetitive strain injuries, or if we're doing a sport or something where we're that's really hard on the body, like rugby for example, or, you know, something that's just quite violent, that's violent against the body, boxing, you know, things like that, then there are repercussions as we get older. And if we're fortunate, it's only when we get older that it starts to play out. If we're not so fortunate, then it tells us a lot earlier. Gosh, I got onto a tangent there, didn't I? My goodness. Sorry about that. That's my little musings for today while I build this little snippet. Did I glue over top of that? No, I think it's just my glue page. That's way too long. Let's take some of that off. About there. Daily musings while we craft. You're just hanging out, having a chit chat as if you were in the room with me. I think that's rather lovely, actually. Do we want to put another bit of this? Yep, let's put another bit of that. Sounds like the street sweepers going past outside. I haven't heard them for a while. But we are in autumn, so it's the time of leaves and things being blown around into the gutters. And we have an issue at the end of our street. When it rains heavily, the corner of our street always floods because the grill fills up with leaves and rubbish and stuff, and the water doesn't drain away. So there's always a huge puddle at the end of our street when it's rained heavily. And there is more rain forecast for tomorrow, so maybe they're getting ahead of that. They're estimating it could be as much as 2 months worth of rainfall in 24 hours, which is huge. If we do get that, then yeah, there will be flooding in around places for sure. I'm not sure that it's particularly for us that estimation is for, but so it looks like tomorrow will be a wet day at the food bank, running around in the rain. Today is fine, so because I'm recording this on the day that you'll see it. Yeah, today's supposed to be fine and reasonably warm, like 20 degrees, so I'll probably be stinking hot when we're red-faced and, you know, all that sort of jazz this afternoon as I'm dealing with boxes of food. Carrying boxes always makes me so hot and red in the face. It's really unfortunate, but I can't change it. It just is what it is. And it's good. It's getting my blood pumping. It's giving me exercise. It's helping the community. You know, there's lots of good benefits to it. So, you know, a little bit of discomfort running around being really hot and sweaty. I'm really getting into it, aren't I? Really giving you the gory details today. You know, it's for a good cause. Right, so I'm just going to get rid of these gluey pages out of the way and my scraps. Right, we're going to put this one up here to dry a little bit. Oh, it's so sticky. And let's go back to this. So let's have a wee look at them side by side. Quite different effects, but using the same things. So let's trim this up. I'm going to have to clean my scissors. I'm going to have to clean my mat. Probably, definitely clean my hands because I am sticky as. Now I might choose to back these. They are quite thin, but I'm not going to do that on camera because I figure you know how to back things. Back it just with other scraps, or just grab a coffee dyed piece of paper or a digital printable or whatever you have, whatever you like, scrapbook paper even, and just back it to make it a bit firmer. But if you're starting with something thicker, like scrapbook paper for example, then you might be good as gold to just not back it. Unless you don't want a white back or something, then you might want to still back it. Right, look at that fun little pile of scrappiness, which is still a little sticky. Sticking to my mat. Is it the pieces that are gluey that are still wet, or is it the glue on my mat? Or both? Sorry, it's just being a bit of a pain picking this all up, but I need to get it out my way. Right, almost there. Right, okay, that's that cleared. Now it's all looking lovely and neat, isn't it? Now, if you don't want the straight edges, you could tear, or you could like leave on the torn strip one, you could leave the edges all torn or tear them back a little bit so they're a bit more constrained if you like. But I'm going to cut all my edges and give me nice clean lines to work with. I think the inking each individual piece on the torn one would be particularly effective. Really show up those edges, nice varied edges, different shapes and textures. I might try one like that at some point. Right. Oh, sticky. I tell you what, I am so sticky. So if you have the luxury of time where you can just set these aside until they dry fully, then I do recommend that. You know, just make a bunch, set them aside to dry, and maybe even the next day when that glue is all dry, then trim them up. But, you know, I'm on camera, so I need to do them now while they're still very gluey, wet gluey. I just can't do it, guys. I was trying to, but I just find it wastes more time trying to cut with stuff on my scissors than just dealing with it. Not to mention the frustration levels that increase dramatically by having all that mess. Yeah, it just frustrates me. And part of this problem is because that glue is wet. So then they're not dropping away, sticking to my scissors. Oops, cutting into the base here a little bit. That's all good. Right, we got there, guys. Thank you for sticking with me through that painful process. So there's our 2 snippet strips. I ended up doing this one quite a bit longer, didn't I? That's all good. So let's make something. I'm looking at this one in particular and going in half, 2 tags, boom, easy. How long is it? It is 12, maybe 13 inches. So we're just gonna, what's that, 6. Okay, I'm gonna do, my guillotine here doesn't go to 6, so I just put it to the edge of the plastic and gauge that's about 6. How long is it actually? It is 5 3/4, so that's not too bad, is it? So I'm doing, oops, paper stuck everywhere. I'll do the same here, and then we'll just have a little strip that we can do something else with. There. That's actually quite cute. Could turn that into an altered paper clip or a addition to a cluster, because it is actually still quite thin. Yeah, there's things we can do with that. Probably won't get to it today. Now I'm going to choose which way up I want them. I think I want them both that way. They're not quite the same, but close enough. I'm actually just going to cut along that line there where that, so completely cutting off one of the strips at that point. But it just looked like to be the perfect angle for the tag. Trying to hold everything straight. Yep, just did a time check. I was like, gosh, how long have I been filming? It's very easy to lose track when you've had an interruption. Okay, cool. 2 tags. And shall we decorate? Okay, now obviously I'm not going to layer with book page or music. I mean, I could do music on this one because there's no music on it, but this one's got music as part of my layers because we've already got that there. So instead use whatever else you might have. And I'm wondering about a bit of doily. Gosh, sometimes they're so hard to separate out, the doilies, aren't they? All pressed out together so they'll stick together. How many have I got there? feel like I've got more than one. Oops. Yeah, there's definitely more than one in this segment. Come on, hurry up, or I'm going to abandon you because you're taking too much time. Is there? Yeah, no, there's definitely more than one there. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Just a little patience required, and I feel short on patience today. Mind you, it might have something to do with the fact that I had 3 hours sleep last night. 3 hours and not in one block. I think the biggest block I got was an hour or an hour and a half, and the rest was in like half-hour gaps. So I feel, yeah, that's, I'll just leave it there. I feel. Okay, I'm just going to trim down there, and we're going to put a layer of doily on. Do I want to ink around it? I don't think so. I think we'll just glue it on. So with my doilies, I just hit all the edges and all the little bits along the edges, and then the kind of larger bits that aren't too difficult to get glue on. That's my approach with doilies. And then in the center bit where you've got more real estate, you know, good amount of glue on that. So I'm just hitting right on the edge, and then these larger bits kind of that sit around the design. And I'm putting it on the side because that's just the way I'm holding it. Doesn't matter, it's just a background layer randomly placed without thinking about whatever else I might put on it. Then carefully just make sure it's all pressed down. And let's do the same with this bit. So it's like you're drawing with glue, really. Okay, and let's put that further up this time. Oops. Here we go, bit of doily to start with. Loving that so far, and we've barely touched them. Right, next layer, what would I like? I think I'd choose out my fussy element, my focal element. And I think I'd like a bird on at least one of them, maybe both. Would you fit on there, Mr. Owl? No, you're too big. It's a shame. You're such a beautiful, beautiful owl. Not working. Owls again, too big. Too big. I think because I've put all the bigger ones at the top. That's why I'm striking out there. Let's dig down to the bottom. Kind of want a mid-sized something. Oh, he's nice. Let's go with an owl on that one. That's too big too. Let's put that in the other section. Need to push these aside so I can have my container not on top of my project. That one's not cut out fully. Oh, they're pretty. Too big though. I probably should actually sort these into sizes, into a different arrangement, you know, a different container, but you know, I probably won't because that takes time. So I'll just continue digging every time I look for a bird. Nice. You've got a cut off tail you have. You're too big. You don't really. What about a pretty little, whatever it is, budgie, canary? I don't know. I don't know the difference. I know there's a difference between budgies and canaries, but I've never had a bird, so forgive me for not knowing how to tell the difference. Which one do we want where? Do we want that one there? I actually think I like that one there, just with the placement of the doily. Okay, what else would I like there? If anything, like that's looking pretty good. I'm thinking keeping this one fairly simple, and maybe just going with a label. I think I do want to ink around him just to bring him up from that back, because he's all neutral colours and our background is neutral, so I do want to just give him a little bit of a boost. Boost off the background. And a label. Let's go the Junk Journal Studio. This is Labels from Days Gone By, Volume 2. Not sure whether I want a vertical or horizontal label or what size. Let's just try this. Well, it actually looks kind of cool behind there, but it might be a little bit big. I like that one. It's pretty much the same size, but it's just got more going on, I think. I don't know, there's something, I just really like that in behind the owl. So give that a little bit of an edge as well. Yeah, so I'm feeling not too bad at the moment, considering I didn't have much sleep. It did take some drugs though, because I woke up, is that the right term, when you haven't slept? I did have quite the headache when I got up this morning. I'd been awake for probably 3/4 of an hour or so before we got up. So I had a sort of early morning bit of a doze before that, a half-hour little snatch of something. Right, I'm just going to centre that, I think. Okay, so that's cool. I love the effect of that. Just thinking, do I want anything down here? I'm thinking a word, so I'm going to glue this on first. Do I want him right at the bottom? Yes, I do think I want him right at the bottom, so the post is cut off at the bottom of the tag. I think that makes sense. I have a number of bird books, new ones that I've got from secondhand, and I really need to do some cutting out. There you go, Mr. Owl. Beautiful specimen, and a word across here I think would look just beautiful. Just be the ticket, I think. So I want it to be reasonably long. Brave. I don't want the white. Lovely. Might work. Don't think I want colour, because we haven't got colour going on, so to bring colour into a word I think would kind of not sit right. I've got vertical words, but no, they're not what I want. Actually, I kind of like that too. This is on cardstock. Coffee dyed cardstock. Oh, my ring keeps turning around. I've got my rings back. So that's my wedding ring. This is Mum's wedding ring that I was wearing on this finger. And I've got spaces on the back so that it doesn't fall off my finger. I don't know whether I'm going to continue with that because I'm kind of a bit wary about wearing my wedding band to the food bank and, you know, handling boxes and stuff. I don't want to damage it, so I'm thinking maybe I take the spaces off and just wear this plainer band when I'm doing food bank days. I haven't decided because I also don't know the spacer. It's only like plastic coil. How well that will withstand the work at the food bank. You know, it might all just break up, and I don't want to lose Mum's ring. That would just be heartbreaking. Yeah, I like that. Let's go with that. Just giving them a nice little edge there with the vintage photo. Just a little bit, not too super dark, but it does make a difference. So I will show you the rings at some point, but I am going to Shane's mum's engagement ring that she gave us, which we had a stone put in when I got my rings done. It is absolutely stunning. I absolutely love it. And I'm going to actually offer it back to his mum to wear if she would like to. And then I'll just, when she does pass, I'll get it back. But to preserve it for as long as possible, it needs to not be worn with any other rings and not worn for heavy jobs. So, you know, like I wouldn't wear it to the food bank kind of thing, or even grocery shopping. But, you know, for going out on a nice whatever, going out for coffee or going out for a meal or something, then, you know, it's the stone in it's tourmaline. I said the wrong stone, and hubby had in his mind the wrong stone. So I was saying tanzanite, he was saying topaz, and it was a tourmaline. And it's just beautiful. Okay, I love that. I think that looks really cool. It does need a bit of ink around it. Let's have a little look with some ink. It does need backing. I feel like it's just a little bit too, I mean, it's not so bad with the elements I've put on it, but just around the edges, you know, it's still quite pliable, shall we say. So I think I would back it just to make sure it lasts in someone's journal. Do I want to put a topper on? Would look cute with something, but I actually really love it as is, so I'm going to say no for the moment. I can always add one later when I put it in a journal. Okay, you little birdie are quite small, so I feel, oh excuse me, I feel like you need something, definitely something more going on. Yeah, I quite like that. Do we want to use more than one label? That's a possibility. Engaged. Is the bird engaged? There is a kind of a round element within that label at the bottom. And maybe we want 3. I don't know. Overkill? I'm not above a bit of excess from time to time. If it suits, if it works. I don't want to cover all the doily because that I think would be a bit silly. I think maybe the 3's not working for me. That is though. I quite like that. Right. So I'm going to ink around these, I'm afraid, my friends. Just going to give them a quick little flick around. Right, this is on the bottom, so we'll put this on first. Let's put it right over near that edge. A little bit of white on around the black border from my imperfect cutting, so a bit of ink just to take away that white. And this one, again, I can see a bit of white around the edge. Don't know when, but somehow yesterday I managed to burn the roof of my mouth right behind my front teeth. Now it's feeling very odd. Happens every now and then. Does that happen to you? Burning the roof of your mouth right behind your teeth? It's not ideal, but it happens. Yeah, I like that. Just gonna whip around the bird as well, like I did with the owl. It was funny when Mum last visited, she was like, the lighting in here is not very good. I don't know how you do your crafting. And we were sitting over on the couch, and I pointed to my desk and says, I've got 3 lights over there that I work under, plus the main light, which is not that bright. So 4 lights in total. And then sometimes I open the curtain behind me if the weather and the temperature is makes it suitable to do so. Like it's too cold this morning, I wouldn't open that because then I would get colder sitting here. So, you know, I work with plenty of light when I'm actually doing this type of work. Right, my coffee's probably cold. It is. Yep. I have confirmed I have cold coffee. Right, do I want a word on there as well? No, I'm feeling like that's going to be too much. So I'm just going to pop the words aside, out of my way. I do think this one needs a topper, otherwise it's kind of a bit plain at the top. But I do need to ink it so I can see how it's shaping up. And I don't really want to do a topper without backing it. That's the other thing. I've got a little sliver there of angled paper that I think if I didn't back it, that would end up breaking off. So definitely need to back this one. So let's look at a topper but not actually attach it. How's that? Is that fair enough? I'm thinking fabric or even cheesecloth might be quite nice. Or what about this? This is a lovely neutral colour that's using strings. That or this little piece. And I feel that like gets a bit too lost. Or we've got this. Which one do I like better? This one's really soft. It's beautiful to feel. Beautiful feel on it. That one or that one. I kind of feel like that one actually. Just something about it. I'm not sure what. Strings everywhere. And I don't want that full width. I just want a the funky shape strip, or do I want the strippy strip? It's a bit hairy, isn't it? So I'm going to leave it that length because I'm not sure whether I want to put it through and tie it, or whether I want to do like, you know, just a segment at the top or a fold over. I'm not sure, so I'm going to leave it at that length, but I will do some sort of topper with that, and that will be that one. The photo will be on the thumbnail for the video once it's finished. So there's that one. Here's our one, if I can pick it up from under everything. We've got a little scrap that we can do something with that was left over from that one, and then we've got this one that we haven't cut up yet, and I'm thinking 3 tags. We could make 3 tags. I had envisaged doing a bunch of different types of projects with these, but I just think they work perfectly as tags, and you know, always need tags, so I'm happy with that. Okay guys, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the project and get some ideas out of it. Yeah, that's it. Take care, my friends, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.